honestly, we haven't been doing much training. The first 2 lessons were, they were both great. They were it seemed a little bit, kind of, he's got the walking thing, and so we're ready to learn a little bit more.
Sure.
We haven't done too much training. He's really great on the e-collar, and he's like you said, you kind of pick your battles. Right. He's 80% there. He might not always be walking right here with me, but you know what, I'm okay. He might stop and have to go to the bathroom. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so now just be aware of the book, okay, is if you say heel and you start the command, right, because you're creating a gray area now.
Okay.
Is that when I say heel, it's heel. Okay, now if it looks like he has the potty, I'll stop, issue the release break,
okay, and
let him do whatever. But over the course of time, what will end up happening is he'll think, well, if Dad says heel and I decide I need to pee, he lets me pee.
Got it.
And if I decide if I can pee, then why can't I decide I want to greet that dog or jump at that person, right? As he does it, because you're logical. You're thinking, well, he's just got to pee, right? Not bad, but he's not. He's just seeing it as I chose to do something during command, so why can't I choose to do this?
Right.
He doesn't differentiate like, oh, you're making an exception because I have to go potty.
Yeah, I get that. That's why I'm kind of telling you this, because maybe I'm not, I didn't do the best training in the past.
Right. So what I tell everybody is, when you issue the command, you have to reinforce it. Okay. If you decide mid-walk, like, you know what, I don't want to, then stop, issue the release, and then who cares?
Yeah.
Because you made a very clear line of, now you're not working anymore, I can care less what you're doing. Okay. Otherwise, you create a gray area, and you want to think in a more extreme circumstance. Okay.
Yeah.
Is if he's not listening to heel, that's one thing. Then one day maybe he's off leash and he's looking to return. And he chooses not to, that's a bigger problem, right? So when you need it, you have it. If you decide to run him and you know he's going to be a little, spaz, you don't care if he doesn't have a collar, I don't care. But definitely the association of when he's got the collar on, it's work, unless given the clear notice. Yeah. Otherwise, if he doesn't have anything on, I could care less, because it doesn't affect him.
He doesn't. One thing I can tell you that he doesn't understand when he's on the collar is he has not figured out release.
Okay.
For example, like we'll be walking and he just does a great job not to, he's on with that little dog, just focused on me, won't do anything with them. But then sometimes the other dogs, she's like, somebody will say, hey, my dog's to your dog, and I'll be like, fine, and I'll tell him release, but he just looks at me.
Sure. Yeah, so, and if that's the case, what I'll do is I'll just move to see if he'll get up. Okay. It's normal in the beginning. There might be a good thing because the dog's being cautious.
Yeah, right.
But I'll give you an exercise today to help them associate with the releases quicker.
Yeah, and I think that will be good because then he'll understand where the line is. There's no gray, it's black and white.
Correct. Okay.
If you're on it, you're obeyed. If you're not, I'll give you a release.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start with a quick review.
Okay.
See what you've been practicing. Okay. And then we'll go down here in the sun.
Yeah, sure.
And then you'll probably have to listen for the wind. It's going that way.
Oh, it might be tunneling through. But yeah, it's blowing through this way. And then the mic is here and then on the side there. Neither did I. All right, go ahead.
Yep.
It's nicer in the morning, and then once you and I know my place was something like before I got it. It was probably
All right, so it's like 90%. So fine. Like a little bit off. I don't want him to be here. Like that space is okay because I can see he's attentive. Okay. The only problem with it is if you wanted off leash obedience, like with the heel command, is that would be a factor. But if you're like, nah, not too worried about it, then what you have is fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. When people are pushing for off leash, it has to be super tight. Otherwise, there's risk of the dog just going off.
And I think that's our objective. If we're gonna do it, might as well just do it tight.
Okay. So then, when you walk with him, like right now he's giving space. Is that the typical range he's at, or does
Yeah,
he...
I could tell. Like for example, yesterday, granted he wasn't on his collar, but he is having. I don't necessarily always put his collar on to take him out to the bathroom because he goes really fast.
Sure.
We walk across the street, he pees, and we go in, and
Sure.
That's
fine.
just perfect. But he's having a problem of he doesn't know exactly where to be because he's running into my knee and he's a little bit far and he doesn't seem to know exactly where to be.
Is that with the collar or without?
Without.
Okay. With the collar, what's he like?
He seems to be better, but he's still he is having a little bit of problem. Even with the collar.
Okay.
Finding exactly where to be, like you explained last time, the peripheral vision is great.
Uh-huh.
I think he's having a problem like dialing in that peripheral of where to look at, where to go.
Where to go? Okay. So remember last time we tried experimenting with tug, like kind of lightly tugging him in to see if he'd come in, but it was doing a little bit better. But then typically, I think it was coming this way. He was having a hard time and spacing out. Yeah. Okay. So let's try a couple more, and then we'll see if we can add in something to tighten that up. Okay.
Okay. Heel.
What a turn. What's your number at right now?
65.
Okay.
I haven't hit him yet. Seems to be a pretty good number for him.
So this is pretty good here. Go ahead and just pivot back real sharp. Tap, 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 tap. There you go. Tap, tap, tap forward. And then, yep, you're good. Pivot back. Tap, 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 tap. Good. There you go. It's better. Tap, tap. Good. And then relax.
Yeah, that 65, he's right there. I mean, you can tell him just twinging enough where he just does not like it.
Yes, but we're looking, so the twitch lets you know you have contact, but then you're looking for a response, and ideally when we feel the tap, what you're wanting to see is this, where he just comes in. I can see he feels it, and he did tighten up, but it was just a bit of work. It's like he just happened to like fall into place, as opposed to saying, there's my target, here I need to go, okay? So to fix the spacing, what I would just do is the abrupt pivots. Okay. They're technically unfair. Okay, just so that you know they're technically unfair because you're just turning out of nowhere. But it's to get him to come in closer. And right off the first one that you did, I saw him move in. So that's what I would do to close up that little gap. Ideally, anytime you notice it, you want to do that. Okay, because if you do it 50% of the time, then 50% of the time he's going to be tight. The other 50% of the time he's going to be loose, okay? So it's really just keeping an eye on them and seeing what the spacing is, and then abruptly pivoting to tighten them up. Okay?
And some of this too, it's to give him credit, it's I don't know exactly always how to train, so it's owner error as well.
And then the other thing is like when you go for a walk, because most people gauge it by my dog's not pulling, as opposed to where my dog is positioned, right? Which is normal. So what I would do is if you're just going to go on a walk, I wouldn't worry so much about the spacing, but then set up time like here where you're going to focus solely on it, 5-10 minutes, and then go on your walk. And what can happen is it works backwards. Is even though you're not doing it during the walk and you're only doing it during little training sessions, it starts to kind of transfer over into that setting. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I don't need to do anything now because he's walking closely.
Yeah, that's a good exercise.
Did we cover the stay?
No.
Okay, so we're going to cover stay, and then next class, we're going to start doing the recall, which is common called. So you'll need a 30-foot long leash.
Yeah, you were gonna send me a link.
Oh, link? Okay.
Yeah, send me a link and I'll get it this week.
Okay.
And then we'll be here.
Okay. Bree, would you text me and remind me to send Scott the long leash link? Because I will forget.
Yeah.
All right. So the way I teach stay is different than what most people how most people use it. Okay. Most people do sit and stay or down stay. Stay's implied. So if I say sit or if I say down, I don't need to say stay. It's just implied. Okay. The only time I use stay is when the dog's already in position. So like right now, Fitz is sitting, but he's not in a sit. What is he in?
Stay.
Not a stay.
I don't know.
What was the last command you said?
Heel.
Yes. Okay. So sit, the position of sit is built into heel.
Okay.
Okay, so heel means walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop.
Okay.
So if you move again, Fitz's inclination should be to move with you, right? So that's why it's not a sit, because sit would mean he wouldn't budge.
Exactly.
Okay.
I got it. I understand.
So since he's in a heel sit, if you move, we know he'll move with you, is then I use the word stay, and that now tells Fitz, you don't move, I'm gonna move. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here is the way I teach the stay is with the dog, since Fitz is on our left, is I take my left hand and just wave it across his face.
Okay.
I say the word stay, and then you're gonna shorten your leash and you're gonna pivot out with your right leg to face him like that.
Okay. He hasn't used the command stay, but he learned the command wait. I don't know.
So wait, think of
Get
as
rid
a
of that or
think of wait as a temporary stay.
okay.
So like you're gonna go through a door and you don't want him to go with you, wait, right? Whereas sit stay means don't move
Right.
until I tell you you can.
Like we use wait when we get out of the car.
Yes.
We wait because he doesn't get out until us get out of the car.
Correct, right? It's momentary.
Yeah.
Whereas with stay, it's stay and don't move
Yeah.
until I release you. So he could technically be there for 30 minutes, just holding a sit position until you release him.
Understood.
Okay? So one more time, we're just gonna wave, say stay.
Okay.
And you're
Stay.
gonna pivot out with your right leg, like that. Good. You can go ahead and just give him a little pet there. And a boy. And then you're gonna pivot back. Okay? And you're gonna do a heel. The little turn, come to a stop, and you're gonna repeat that a few more times.
Okay. Heel.
Good. Pivot back. Good.
There's been no nicks or anything.
Correct. Because he's not done anything.
Stay.
I like his little joust. Good. Two more.
Heel. Stay.
Good. And one more.
Heel.
Good. Good. Back. So what we're going to do now is we're just getting him used to the motion of you're going to be moving from his side and he's not. Right? So that's the first step. Now what we're going to do is you're going to step out with Fitz, take a step back, and just kind of move in front of him. And then you'll return to his side, okay? When you do this, you're gonna want to have your leash higher up, right? So you're gonna have it's like a two-hand hold. The reason for this is if it Fitz stands up, you want to pull up and tap to reposition him, okay? Without repeating. Yep.
Heel.
Good. Yep. Good.
Stay.
Good. step back, right? And then come over. Yep, that's okay. Then swing around a little bit to his right. There you go. Right there. Oh yeah. And then back to his side. So return back into the heel. There you go, like that. So you're just doing that kind of half move, okay? To get him used to you moving, and then we're gonna eventually be moving all around him, okay?
He likes to do that, put his paw on my
Now, he swiveled, right? Where he did this,
Yeah.
he kept that butt down. I don't correct that.
Okay.
Because that typically goes away on its own. He's technically still sitting.
Yeah.
He's just moving the front of his body. It almost always just fixes itself. Once he understands, oh, I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
then
I
it
thought that
stops.
was pretty good for his first one.
Yeah.
I could tell that he was sitting.
Yeah.
Because he'll do this if he's gonna move. I think he was, you
Oh,
know,
I see, yeah.
he'll get closer, he'll wiggle around, he'll put his paw on my foot.
No, that was good. Okay, let's try a few more.
Okay.
Heel.
That's okay. Yep. And the other way. Good. And back to the side. Good. Back to heel. Good. 3 more. Wow.
It's
So-
interesting how he hasn't done that before.
So we'll see if he we'll do it a couple more times.
Okay.
But technically, so that technically would have been a break from command because he moved 2 steps, right? But we're gonna see if we practice a few more, if he'll just stop doing it on his own. Okay.
Maybe I'll give him a little.
Like being in that's what I would say. It's like being in a
Stay.
I have a little life. Oh yeah, it's all you know.
Calm it down.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what I mean? Like I worked out.
Tap, up, tap. Right, so when you got up there, right?
Up tap.
What you do, yeah, it's up. Because you're trying to keep him
I got it.
away from you.
Sure.
And get him to complete the position. So let's say we're going to do this again, right? And you're remoting Fitz, and he comes to your side. He ends up thinking that the tapping did mean to come closer, because for the past 2 weeks, the tap has meant
Yeah.
come here. And we're trying to teach him to differentiate that in this sense.
Got it.
means to put his butt
Sure.
back down.
Yeah. Okay. Heel.
I was actually Good. Yeah, so that's okay because it kept his butt down.
Okay.
So go ahead and take a step back. Okay, so right there we have space, right?
Yep.
So Fitz shouldn't move towards you because that would clearly lead him to pick his butt up. So having that distance is good. And now go ahead and try moving around again. That's okay. Yep, come back towards me. Good. Now up tap. There you go, like that. Okay, that's better. Take a step back again. Let's try that one more time. Okay. You'll do just a half moon around them. Yep. Good. Then back to heel. That was better. Yeah, so you're wanting that gap to give him opportunity to make that mistake, right? And then what you did was correct. You just the leash helps him with the brakes, and the tap is to get him to reposition, but also prevent him from coming closer. Okay, let's try that a couple more times.
Yeah, that's why we were talking about it.
Stay.
Right, good. Good.
Trying to get a little more space.
Yep, it's all good. Good. Back to the side. Good. Let's try for 2 more just like that.
Heel.
Good.
Stay.
Good. Good. Back to his side. Very good. We'll try for 1 more.
Heel.
I'll get back in that same position.
Good. Good.
Stay.
Up tap, tap. There you go. That's good. Back away. Good. Good. Back to the side. Very good. So now, all those were good. A couple of them needed correction.
Yeah.
He sat back down.
Yeah.
And when you're practicing with them, if you find that Miguel gets up and you correct them, if you're just about to end it, you want to do a little bit more before actually returning to the side. Okay? Because a lot of times at the very end, people will correct, but since they're already going to end it, they'll reposition. But the dog doesn't learn anything there.
Right.
They're so close to the end. So then I'll have to do a little bit more. Okay?
Yeah, I feel that he sort of started to understand that the break and the differentiation stay like pulling out with the neck. The neck gets
Correct. Okay. So dogs interpret the nick differently according to what's going on. So right now we're just kind of teaching the context of like, when we're moving, tap means to come here. When I tell you stay, tap means to keep your butt in place. So ideally, if you're like 20 feet away and you see Fitz start to get up and you tap him, he just puts that butt back down again without you having to do anything.
Right.
Okay. So we're gonna do the same thing, except this time you're gonna make a full circle around him. Okay.
Okay. Ready? Heel.
Keep forward. Keep forward. Yeah. There you go. Good. Yep. There you go.
That was interesting. Why do you think he did that? Weird.
Just maybe he's like, screw this. I mean, it's common in the first class, like you saw, because it's a lot of pressure for the dogs.
Good job. do a couple half moons first.
Probably need like 2 for the nice green flag.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Good. I'm going to go back to the side here. Good, and praise. Good, let's try for 4 more.
Yep.
Good turn. Good. Good.
Try the opposite.
That's okay. Yep. Good. Back to the side.
I'll go around the other way for him.
Good. Very good. As long as that butt stays down, it's like right there he made that like the left leg, but he was still anchored.
Yeah.
That was fine. Let's try for 3 more.
Yep.
Good.
Good job.
Good.
Try to do a little bit faster.
Yeah, you can do that.
Thanks that all people were not training.
Good. 2 more. Kind of lean in there. Yeah. Good. Good. I'm fine.
Boy, you're tired.
Good. Last one.
Yeah. Look at that wheel. Oh wow.
Yep, there you go. Oops, I did that wrong one. That's okay. Very good. Good turn. Yep, that's good. Keep doing it. Good job.
Leave you alone. He's like such a knucklehead. Marley. You know we call it the spittle ball. He likes to spittle all over.
Good. Back to the side. Let's go ahead and give him a break. Move to the shade for a couple of minutes.
Good job. There we go.
So, all's are good. Okay, progressively adding things slowly to make it more difficult. So I do this. My baseline for knowing when to progress to the next step is I like to do 5 reps of each thing.
Okay.
Okay, and every now and then I'll add in an extra to comp if the dog made a mistake. So after 5 reps, I was moving to the next phase of how we push stay. So for yourself, when you're working with them, to give you a structure on when do I know when I can progress to make it harder, I do 5 reps. Okay, and if you did all of them, 4 out of 5 is pretty good. If you did 3 out of 5, might add an extra 1 or 2 to give them more practice before actually going to the next thing.
Okay.
So it gives you real easy 60% success, 80% success, and stuff. Okay. So a couple of things. One thing that I noticed is with your heels from the stays, you want to make sure you start that with your left foot. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, some of them you would just go into them and you would start it with your right leg. You want to start with your left leg.
Okay.
And now it's really important because with the stay, we are pivoting out with our right leg like this. So in advanced training, left leg means heel, right leg means no move. Okay, so we're already establishing that foundation. Otherwise, if you're using them interchangeably, he's going to get mixed up and he's not going to be as reliable. Okay, so
I forgot about that.
yeah, so leading with the left leg for the heels, and then when you're doing your stays, you're leading with the opposite leg. Okay. So right now, the way we're doing this is not natural, but it's easier for the dog to detach and not follow if we do it this way. But what we're building to is stay, and then your right leg, and you move forward, right? But at this stage, it looks too similar to heel, the only difference being which leg you're moving with. So it sounds super fancy, but it's really just being consistent and, what's the word? Kind of exaggerated in the beginning to help differentiate heel, right? And then stay. Right. Until he starts to differentiate between the 2 legs. Okay? Otherwise he's doing good. So for you, how do you think, what would be something that we could add in or the next kind of level of making this command more difficult for you?
Well, I think I don't know if this is the way you want to train it, but it would be to drop the leash.
Sure.
And then walk around him or pull a few feet back. Because I noticed as I was running on a leash,
Right.
as he was
Right, you could do distance, right?
Yeah.
And you do it gradually. So first you started with just 2 or 3 feet, then you went to 4 to 5, and then you went to the full length of your leash, right?
Yeah.
So when you get your long leash, that allows you to give even more,
Right.
while still having to control in case he decided to be disobedient, right? So that's one thing for sure. What else? What you have now, same setup,
Yep.
okay? Nothing extra, nothing different. What's something you could add in to make this more difficult?
maybe a drop.
That'd be one thing. What else? Adding a distraction. right? So if it's just you and Fitz, what we're gonna do now, the same stuff. You're gonna do the stay. You're gonna pivot out. You're gonna come back to his side. You're gonna praise him a lot. Okay. If he gets up, you would tap him back into position. Go back to praising, and you step away, but you're not gonna say anything. Okay. So the stay is in effect until you either release or you give him the next command. Right. So what we're doing: stay, walk away, walk around a bit, come back, praise him, step away again, and he'd most likely think heel. That's what the pattern has been.
Right, of course.
So now we're going against the pattern. Okay?
All right. Ready? Heel. I'll keep it right there.
Good.
Stay.
Good. Good. Up temp.
Oh yeah, sorry. I wasn't ready.
So yeah. So when we, whenever you give affection, you want to assume Fitz is probably going to make a mistake, right? I always assume, so this way I'm already
Sure.
there, right? So it's okay. We're going to reset. We're going to do another heel, okay? And then I'll coach you from there.
Okay. Okay. You ready? Heel.
Good. Let's go ahead and pivot out.
Stay.
Now, no affection here. You're going to walk around. Good. Keep walking. Good. Now back to the side. Praise a lot.
Boy.
You're going to shorten your leash again.
Boy.
And then step out, assuming he's going to follow. So you're ready to correct if needed. There you go. And just walk around. Up, tap, tap. There you go. And relax and walk around. Good. Back to the side. Good. Easy praise. And heel. Good.
Heel.
Good.
Stay.
Good. Good. Back to the side. Lots of praise.
Oh, good job.
Shorten your leash, step away. Right, good. And walk around. Very good. Good. Let's try another walk around. Good. This is okay. This is okay. Excellent. Back to the side. And a boy. Good. We're going to try 3 more. Those are good.
Heel. Stay.
That's okay. Pivoting is okay. Good. Back to the side of praise. Step away. Got it. Good. Yep. You thought about it. That's okay. And then move. Very good.
Good boy.
Good boy. 2 more.
Okay. Heel.
I was about to say you need some sun breathing. Yep, forward tap. Good job. There he is. That was much better, how he came into your leg.
Stay.
Good.
Good boy.
Good job. Yep, good.
Okay. Good boy.
Excellent.
Nice job.
Last one.
Job. Heel.
Good.
Stay.
Good. So what I'm going to have you do here is just say the word break,
Break.
and then walk with Fitz over here to the grass. There we go. All right, so now he's free. Very good. So,
He doesn't do that though.
yeah, I know, right? So we're going to cover how I get dogs to become more comfortable with the release. Okay, but all that was good.
Yeah.
So only a couple of mistakes in terms of having to pull up and tap and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, the pivoting will resolve itself. Questions about any of that stuff?
No? Makes total sense.
So when it comes to application, what I have my clients do is, like, let's say you're walking with Fitz, he poops, right? I pull up, tap him into a sit, give him the stay, pick up the poop, come back to a side, go into a heel, walk up to a trash can, right? Give him a stay, walk away, but I'm still holding the leash, throw away the poop, come back, heel, right? So that, yeah, it's realistically speaking, it's like not useful in a sense, but like to practice it without having to do this back and forth or like back to back is what I have people do. Or like, let's say you hit a red light, come to a stop, red light, give them the stay, practice while you're at the red light, back to side, heel, okay? We're just teaching him the difference between stay and, so one, they're conflicting commands. One is move with me, the other is don't move with me.
Yeah.
So we're trying to teach them to differentiate those two concepts.
I would assume the hand signal is probably bigger.
If they see it or, if they see it or not, it's not the biggest thing, because it's really the verbal cue. So if like Fitz is looking this way and you wave, like he still sees something, right? Don't worry about having this attention when giving the command, because you'll end up being like Fitz, 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 like trying to get the attention first. And what you end up teaching him is, even if he did stay and moved away, and he did, I would say, get distracted and not see that, and you have to correct him, that's actually what teaches him to pay more attention.
Right. How do you maybe they differentiate between words that they don't understand? You got a one syllable
Repetition.
world or one syllable word, two one syllable words, stay and feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't give the know it's just which.
Right, and that's where going back and forth between the two.
Okay.
Because when we're teaching the words, there's always what I call the clarification stage. Because once a dog knows so many things, you'll start to see them like giving wrong answers.
Yeah.
And then we keep repeating. So if I see like a lot of dogs did the sitting down, where you'll say sit but they'll down, you know, is real common because they go to the most submissive position that they know. So I just go back and forth between the two until the dog kind of clarifies down is down, sit is sit, and that's where being so black and white really comes into play because there's no inconsistency there. Okay. So making sure when you give that heel, starting with that left leg, when you give the stays, leading with the right leg, and it's really just repetition. Okay. Question so far. So to work on getting Fitz more comfortable with the release, is there anything that he absolutely loves, like tennis balls or tug toys or?
No, nothing specifically. He's got his toys. He likes them all.
Is there any that he likes that you're engaged with, like Doug or Tug or Fitz?
His favorite is shoes. He doesn't, but it's interesting though. He takes them. You can see like from his Instagram page, like he takes it and he just puts his head on it. He doesn't chew it.
Yeah, it just slips on it.
It just sleeps on it. It's bizarre. I gave him shoes, so I have old shoes. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna throw them away. I'll just put them in his toy bin.
Yeah, that's fine. So, for example, if there was something like, let's say he loved fetch, it's a good way to teach the dog to release. So, like, I could give him a stay, walk around, say break, and then throw the ball. So now you're creating like a movement after the release.
I mean, probably like any dog, but he's got just a huge affinity to treats. Oh my god, I mean, like insane.
Sure.
Like complete distraction.
Okay, one thing you can do, and I'm gonna show you a simpler version, but this is just to add more incentive, is if he's really treat motivated, bring some in a pouch with you.
Okay.
You go on your walk, you know, you come to a stop, he's in a sit, you're by grass, I cue him to break, and I put some treats in front of his nose and just toss a couple.
That's why I said treats.
Yeah, just to create the movement of I can get away from you. Okay, and after that point, like let's say Fitz comes back and like he takes the treats but then returns to you. Don't try to like push him to go into release. Like a lot of people go kind of like break. They keep repeating, right? The more you talk and the more you invest energy-wise, the more inclined he is to actually stay with you.
Yeah.
So what I do is I walk, come to that stop, he sits, I wait a moment, get my treats ready, break, toss a couple, he goes, he comes back, I ignore him for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he goes back to see if there's more treats. Again, I ignore him because he's on release. And then after a minute or so, heel, I start walking. I walk a couple of minutes, come to a stop, he sits, wait, break, toss some treats. So you're kind of drilling it back to back, right?
Yeah, I got it.
So whenever you're trying to build a dog's comfort with something, it's repeat, like literally back to back. When it's obedient stuff like this, we can't drill it too much, otherwise you'll wear the dog out.
Right.
Which is why I put gaps between things to let them rest and just kind of not get worn out. But something like the release command, because you're incentivizing, you can drill that back to back because you're not having to put them under pressure. You're actually free from pressure. It's just getting comfortable with it, okay? So we're gonna try that very thing, but we're gonna do it without the treats. So like let's say you go out and you wanna work with him on it, but you don't have food with you. And I would use high value stuff. Like I use cheese, hot dog, sausage, pepperoni, turkey, chicken, you know, I use good stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's good enough for me, it's good enough for them.
Yeah. Honestly, he loves carrots, grapes.
Oh, really?
I mean, that stuff that he doesn't see.
You gotta be careful with grapes, though.
Yeah, he doesn't get it very often, but
Yeah, because grapes, raisins, avocado, chocolate, onions, garlic, I believe, so it's toxic.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I usually Google it before he eats it to make sure that I'm
Double check, yeah.
double
And
check.
fake sugar, artificial sweetener.
Yeah, he doesn't use that.
Yeah. And like my mom used to give my, like 20 something years ago, my chow, or our chow, chocolate, right? And he loved it. And he lived a good long life. But obviously, she wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah. You know, it happened. So like the occasional grape, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But just so that you're aware. So for what we're gonna do here is you're gonna put him into the heel. You're gonna walk a few paces, come to a stop, sit, give the release on the side there, okay, and walk with him on the grass. Just kind of meander a bit for a few seconds, and then back into the heel. We're gonna repeat that a few times. Okay.
What do I say, release?
Break.
Break.
Yeah.
Alright, ready? Alright, heel.
What I'll also do is keep my left side away from him. So when I release, yeah, exactly. I'll pivot out and face the dog. And then I can just kind of meander, reversing. Because if you walk in this kind of fashion and Fitz over here, he's going to default into this position. Okay, so once you give the release, because I saw how he kind of swiveled around, and I just pivot out to remove myself. So that he starts to get comfortable with being away from you, because he's thinking cat means to get close to you. So you're having to build that balance. Okay, let's try that 4 more times.
Heel. Good boy. Great.
Good. Yep. That's good. Just look at the face in. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. And then we just ignore, right? So you see how he's scooting next to you here? So he's on your left, so pivot out. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Right there. That's okay. And then we just stand. So here, he chooses to sit, but being away from you is the big part. Okay? Let's try that 3 more times.
Heel.
Cuddling up to someone else. 35. Okay. You have a standard? Yeah. Growing rapidly.
Great.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. That's fine. That's fine. Good. Yeah, that's fine.
Was he this cover when he was younger? I'm wondering how life is different.
We're pretty much the same size now the whole time, yeah.
Heel.
Wait, can I?
Yeah, you want to see about the donuts? We can go this way.
Do you want?
Good.
Great.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, put out the face. Yep. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Great. Heel.
Turn.
Great.
There you go. There you go. Look at that. Yeah, boy. So,
A lot of stuff that's very close to being similar, I can tell from him. Like, the difference between heel and stay,
Yeah.
and then heel, stay, and then break. I mean, everything's real. I can tell, you don't understand English. I mean,
yeah.
it's all real close. I mean, it's all body language, and it's all,
Right. That's why being aware of how consistent you are,
yeah.
because, like for me, because I train dogs, like I can't do the wrong thing. It's like my brain has a hard time with that. But for people who aren't used to it, with like leading the legs, we go back to habit. So if you're right-handed, a lot of people tend to do right foot forward. You know, so like for me in the beginning, that left foot forward took time to kind of program into myself.
Yeah.
But once you get it, it's like can't forget it.
Yeah.
So, but for the dogs, it makes it super clear. So, like when I'm training them, since I naturally do these things, from the moment I start training the dog, I'm already doing a lot of body language that's helping cue the dog on what's going on. So then when I give them to the owners, because the owners don't know those cues, the dog was a little bit sloppier. So whenever working with them, just making sure we're consistent with those leg movements. All your turns were good. Your pivots were good. Your crossover turns were good.
Good.
The only thing I did notice was that you did come to some very abrupt stops.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, always slow down.
Yeah.
Now, he's able to do it in this context because you're training. He's more focused.
Yeah.
But in a real life context, when it's like we've been walking for 30 minutes, if you just stop abruptly.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I was trying to do that here just because I would try to be more challenging.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Just so that you're aware.
Yeah, I'm aware when we're walking up the sidewalk to slow it down, like, a few breaks before the sidewalk.
Yeah.
A few grabs.
Excellent. Any questions?
No.
Good. We got a few minutes. Do you mind doing like a quick testimonial for us?
No, not at all. Love to.
Cut it and we're going to start a new one.